going to be one of the biggest weeks that we have in the stock market. It looks like futures are down already in the S&P 500. So I'm looking at them. They're about 406 right now, down $5. Usually we see a nice bounce every time that we gap down in the morning. So pay attention to that. Everyone is completely bearish in the market. It seems like the world is ending. But if you're smart, you're not feeling like you need to sell out of everything. This is where you get the opportunity to buy. So, excuse me, let's look right into this. S&P 500 is my main watch this week, right? So we're right here. Futures are at 406.80. I'm looking at this 405 bottom, double bottom here. If we break through this, we're probably going to see 400. But the biggest level that I'm seeing is we could play some short-term puts here, right? We could play some short-term puts below this 405 mark because that is the biggest support line. As you can see, that's a double bottom here. Let me zoom back out a little bit. And then there's a big bounce, kind of a gap fill on the weekly chart here. So if I go zoom out to the weekly chart, I drew this earlier. There's a little bit of a gap in the S&P 500 to fill down. Below this 405, we're going to hit 400 most likely. And then I would expect a sell-buy block at the bottom of that 400 level. If we do not go below 405, we could triple bottom and then bounce. But the one thing that I'm paying attention to the most is Wednesday morning. So Wednesday CPI release is going to be the biggest key. If we see that CPI data is starting to level off and then it seems like it's peaking, it's starting to come down, the market is going to absolutely rip, in my opinion. So I'm looking at that CPI data on Wednesday for a huge, huge momentum, which is why I'm starting to take some longer calls. If they miss and they're still higher than expected, then I'll probably cut my longer calls, but I'm taking them because less data, a little bit more expensive. But if I get that in the big rip day, we're going to see the S&P 500 go crazy. So same thing with the QQQ. If that level goes up there, there's a $300 bounce here. We're trading around 305 right now. So I'm expecting a pretty big bounce here on Wednesday if inflation level is topping out, which I think it will because of the interest rate. So watch those big breakdowns, 405 and then 300 test here. 405 to 400 on SPY, 305 down to 300 on QQQ. Wednesday, if inflation data is peaking, boom, market is ripping. So those are my big two, SPY, QQQ. Those are the ones I'm really going to be watching most of the time. If you want to play some call sides for some all-time highs break, pay attention to oil. XOP could top out to this 147.67 if the market is still weak and barrels prices are still going up. So there's a nice little uptrend we got going on here, and it looks like it hasn't completely broken down. It's tapped up 3 times, so pay attention to this 147 break. You could make some good money on oil if you play the XOP. So SPY, QQQ, XOP, and for some of you guys out there that really, really like some double bottom bounces, we also have Microsoft. So this 270 level support line is a huge one here. If it breaks down, most likely we'll see this 262 price, 263. So any market weakness, this 270 breakdown on Microsoft looks really good down at 263. And then I'm still trying to play that bounce. So anything on Amazon here, there's a nice double bottom right around this 2256, it looks like, 2261. And then below that, we could hit 2200. But I'm really looking for that bounce. So this has been absolutely obliterated on the daily chart. We had a gap down from almost 3,000 all the way down to 2,200. So the market starts soaring and going the other way. Pay attention to Amazon. They'll be expensive, but they will pay you so much money. There is so much room to bounce up at these levels at 2261. Could run to 2,500, and that would be a massive amount to pay out, especially on call options same week. So pay attention to that Wednesday date. SPY, QQQ, huge reversal potential here if the inflation level is topping out with interest rates being raised so aggressively. So pay attention to that. Watch the QQQ, SPY dip buy, Amazon possible bounce, and then that 270 level for Microsoft. And then if you want to play something a little bit more safe, play the XOP for the all-time high potential test. So those are the 5 things I'm watching this week, mainly SPY, QQQ. And if you have some more money to risk, Amazon could be an absolute lethal play. So just want to give you guys and highlight that the QQQ and SPY could rip, and I cannot reiterate this enough, if the inflation level is starting to hover over and start peaking down. So let's see what we got this week. That is my analysis. Watch those 400 and 300 levels on the SPY. Could be a huge reversal pattern coming up here pretty soon. So Wednesday's a big day. Whole market's going to be a big day. This is going to be a great week, so get after it.